the idea behind the music entities is very beautiful. I have to say that because as a real artist, I've been through that. Through the difficult, the financial is very limited, the support is very limited. Through the music entities, you can live your own dream.
Episode 21 of Invest in Music with two of Camel Ventures. Today we're here to talk about the legendary collector DAO that everyone has been wondering about. We talk about the origins of Camel Ventures, what it's like collecting music in Vietnam, and so much more. As a reminder, you can collect this episode on investinmusic.xyz. It's the best way to support our guests, and it's actually his very first podcast. So without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 21 with two of Camel Ventures. All right, we are back today with two from Camel Ventures. How are we feeling today, man?
Yeah, hello everyone. You probably know Camel, and yeah, I think this is the first time I come out with people. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Coop. Thank you for this opportunity for me to have a chance to talk with the people around the world.
I love it. Well, I'm really excited about it, man. It's definitely been a long time coming. People that listen to this podcast are probably super excited to dive into it. Camel Ventures has been taking over sound by storm. When the camels pull up in the audience section, I know everyone gets really excited. Everyone always asks me, who is Camel Ventures? What is their origin story? Where are they from? So I wanted to just go directly to the source, hear from the man, the myth, the legend himself. So without further ado, why don't we kick it off with a little bit of background? Tell us about yourself and your relationship with music prior to starting Camel Ventures.
Okay. It's been quite a story for me. Okay, so my name is Tu, and I'm from Vietnam. And my background, I am an architect. Yeah, I graduated from the architecture school in Vietnam, and I spent a year on an exchange program in Belgium. Yes, that's my background, and I've been in crypto since 2017. It's like 5 years ago. Yeah, and actually, when I was in high school, I started a band just for fun, just some kids playing music together because I really love music, just like the 90s kids. I've been to music very much because it helps me getting through a hard time. And my favorite bands at that time, I think everyone should know, is like Linkin Park, Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne, and everything they show on MTV. Yeah, kind of get into it, and I start my own band. We just play for fun in high school, just like. And when I went to university, my band just broke up. Yeah, but some of them they are still follow their professional career. Yeah, and some of them achieve good things, but me, I just went my own way, and I think getting into the music entities is like a second chance for me to my love with music. Yeah, and about the Camel actually. Let me tell you back about how I know about music NFTs. It's quite a long way. It's it was 2021. Yeah, I bought my first music NFTs. This is the song of Spot Wi-Fi. Yeah, he got the profile with the CryptoPunk.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, it's late 2021. Yeah, and then there's a friend of mine, he introduced me about Rocky. Yeah, that's how I know about Rocky. I just wonder for myself, what is Rocky? Yeah, and I really like, and I start to research about Rocky. I listen to Rocky. Yeah, and I really got really interested, and I start seeing the different uh, between the music NFTs and the rest of the rest. Yeah, and I choose that path. Yeah, and because Rocky has brought me like a huge impression, and it's kind of like an inspiration, you know. And and the music video, the Desperado from Rocky, is the idea that for me to make to create a code named Camel. You know, actually, yeah, that is how the Camel name come from, and in that and then I got a community. Actually, I'm a source of information for them. Uh, very I have some communities around me, and you know, and most of them is the crypto investor from 2017, and they have, of course, with that kind of long time and experience, they have many experience in the market, and but the music NFTs is something new for them. I have to admit, and I try to persuade them that the beautiful things behind the music NFTs, and because because as they are experienced users, so they are used to um, they are kind of NFTs NFTs flippers, you know, they just buy and sell and buy and sell, but because but later they start to love and they like the experience with the music in the music NFTs. Yeah, yeah, and many members of Camel, they start to change. They they like they like what they own than thinking about just only profit or something like, or the value of money or something. They start to fall in love with the music, and they start to like support the artists that they back up, and it's like, you know, they getting some connection between the asset, the asset that they put their money into, and the people that created it. It's like a real connection between them. Yeah, because and you know, when you talk about a song, you have to really like it. Yeah, that
Love
that
that.
yeah.
There's lots
Yeah,
to unpack
that's
there.
that how.
There's a lot to unpack there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say first and foremost, the story of founding Camel is extremely inspiring. You know, the fact that there's such an avid community of collectors in Vietnam it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I think that this space is meant to thrive on global communities, and watching the level of participation that your community has had in the space over the last couple of months, it's been extremely energizing. You know, I know so many artists that have gotten support and been backed by Camel and who have been ecstatic about it, you know, and I think that it's really interesting to hear about your origins being in a band to then starting a collective that's now had a focus on collecting music. And I'd love to kind of hear about your relationship with crypto more broadly. So you mentioned that 2017 is when you first discovered crypto. You were coming out of school studying architecture. What was it that first got you
Yeah.
into the crypto space back in 2017?
Yeah. Yeah. I started to heard about Bitcoin, Ethereum back in 2017 when I was working at my former company, and I start my my college. They start talk about Bitcoin. Well, what is that? And and I start to digging about it, and I think that crypto, is is something is very interesting, and I think it's more than just a way to making money. Of course, everybody participate in crypto just to making gains, but it's more behind that, like utilities, and I think, and mm, music NFTs is a real utility, and I think this is very important to. It's like a bridge between the blockchain and the real world and the world real users. Because everybody, I believe that 99% of the people um, around the world they listen to music, and they at least they have some favorite song of their own. It's very close things. And, close
Right.
into people.
I find your journey very fascinating because 2017 is right when I got into crypto myself. I was coming out of school. I was basically studying music business and I was passionate about music, but I realized it was very difficult to make a career out of it. And so it was really interesting. That was right when I started to really dive into crypto. And just to set the scene for everyone, this was during the ICO era. There was a lot of new projects launching all the time, a lot of new white papers. And the reason why I think it's relevant to highlight this is you mentioned for Camel, it's a lot of people from 2017. And I think it's very interesting because there was a period of about a year or so there when crypto was this phenomenon that was very global. I would go into all these chat groups. I would see people from all around the globe trying to participate. And then we noticed that there was a drop off for about 2 or 3 years there, where 2018, 2019, a lot of those investors from 2017 left the space because they got burnt. There was a lot of ICOs that raised a lot of money and they never launched. I remember especially in Vietnam, there was a lot of projects launching that people would talk about. And the reality is that a lot of those founders would not execute on their mission. And so you would see these companies raising $5 million, $10 million on an ICO, and then they would never ship anything. And I think that that's really important to highlight here because with on-chain music and what we're seeing now with collecting, you're mentioning that music NFTs feel different to your community. And I'm imagining why that is because their impact is a lot more felt in these communities, right? If they collect a song from an artist and they join a Telegram chat, you can immediately have a relationship with that artist. And I think that for a lot of investors that were here in 2017, you didn't really have that same experience. You would buy an ICO token, have no communication with the team. You would never hear from them, ask them, when roadmap, et cetera, and they would just leave you in the dust. And I think that's a very different setting from currently in on-chain music, where if you show up to Sound XYZ and you collect 20 editions of a song, chances are that artist is definitely going to notice you. And I'm sure that's something that's been felt very impactfully for the members of your community.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Like you said, in 2017, people just put their money blindly. You have to admit that in some projects that we don't even know their founder is, what is their purpose of anything like that. We just blindly put money into ICOs, and then it's making crazy money, and then at the end of 2017, people begin to get burned about that. And I think the idea behind the music NFTs is very beautiful. I have to say that because I can tell myself he's a real artist, but I've been through that because I started the band when I was really young, and I partly know that the difficult that a real artist have to suffer, especially that you start from zero. The financial is very limited, the support is very limited. But through the music NFTs, you can live your own dream you can connect you as an artist. You can connect directly with your audience. Say that your real audience, your real supporter, and then you bringing value to the audience, and they as an audience, they support back to you as an artist. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very beautiful connection to support each other. Yeah, the audience, they receive the true value. That they have song, they have like the spirit. I mean, they have something in return, and then the artists, especially the new one, they don't have to go to the third party or something. They can just being creative, and then give something back to the audience directly. And I think it's very beautiful. Yeah,
exactly
last time,
right.
last week, TK, he has sold like 7,000 NFTs. Yeah, I think it's Camel, we want to send him the congratulations for his hard work. That's why we support. We try our best to support him, and I think that things could happens to any other artist. They only just need to be hardworking, and try the best, and they will gain some. They will gain the result, the beautiful result. Like TK.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful story, because to set the scene for people listening here, so TK's drop Origin, it was 7,000 NFTs, and I'd like to say that Camel probably collected at least 2,000 to 3,000 of them, man. I mean, it was such like an overwhelming amount of support, and I've noticed for projects like Roki or Bloody White or any of these other people that you're collecting, when Camel comes and supports a project in full force, it is like one of the most epic things I've ever seen in music NFTs so far, and it's something that everyone's always really excited about. They're always a little bit confused because they're like, who are these people? Why are they buying my music? And I think the reason why I wanted to talk about 2017 is because your community had a lot of people who are already familiar with crypto in it. And I think that that's really important to highlight, because when you, as a curator of this community, said, let's look into music NFTs as a vertical, it's very interesting that a lot of your community members had already probably had a wallet set up. They had some ETH in their wallet. And I think what's really interesting about the timing of this all is, when I first started noticing Camel, it was really around the time when sound started moving over to Optimism. And I know that you have personally talked before about the fact that you're a big fan of Optimism. And I think it's a really beautiful example of what Layer 2 can enable, because I know that Optimism, at least for the Camel Ventures community, was such a big deal because it really allowed you guys to collect these songs in full force, because you were able to capture the full value of collecting versus spending more on gas than collecting a song on mainnet. It really feels like the timing with sound coming to Optimism really lined up well with Camel Ventures being able to have such a substantial impact on these projects.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I have to say, because Optimism, they're bringing like real nice environment to like you said, the layer 2 with very low gas, and I think it's very suitable for some like say it's like in sound XYZ that is enable users to just to minting the NFTs without thinking about what is the gas price and everything. They just the one thing they have to thinking about is the quality of the music and the artist. They don't have to being bothered about the gas fee. And I think it's very beautiful of Optimism. The speed of transaction and the gas, very low gas. Yeah, it's very beautiful. That's why it's just a small reason that Camel is a big fan of Optimism. Yeah,
totally.
Me personally is also a very big supporter of Optimism. Yeah, the layer 2.
Nice. Yeah, and I want to go back to the origin story for a second, because you mentioned the Roki Desperado video being the inspiration behind the Camel Ventures collective. Also, shout out Spotty Wi-Fi, OG in the space. Absolutely love that there is some early support there too. But what I find really fascinating about the Desperado connection there is, most people might not know this, but that video for Desperado took 2 months for the team to make. And that was something that they basically, the Roki, team, that they basically slaved over for 2 months straight. They were staying up 16 hours a day. Like, they were not sleeping very much because they were just so dead set on making this the most epic video possible. And if you go and watch this video, I don't know, I just find it so compelling, this story, because I'll be the first to admit, when we were thinking about releasing a song for Roki and putting out Desperado, at the time it was very unconventional to do video content. At the time with music NFTs, it was a song and a cover art. And the Roki team said, we really want to create an extra layer on top of this and use video content to enhance and really create a new atmosphere around collecting the music. And so when that video came out, I know that they were extremely proud of it. It's such an incredible video. I'd highly recommend checking it out. But hearing that that video was able to inspire something like Camel Ventures is such a powerful moment, because the level of energy and commitment that went into making that video is the exact thing that you said that you noticed as someone who is a collector of the community. And it's really inspiring for me to hear that kind of interest is what led to the creation of Camel Ventures and all of the amazing work that you guys are doing now today.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I know behind every work of art, no matter it's a song or it's a music video, I know that there's tons of work behind it, because tons of the passion of the artist around. You put all of your mind, all of your heart into that work to make it the best that you can. And I really respect that. Yeah, like you said, it's not it's not like in 2017 that some scam project. They just need to write some bullshit white paper and they raise tons of money. But no, not with the music, and not with the art for that. Because I like I said before, you have to put your mind, your heart, and your work, and your passion, your dedication into that work. So we have to appreciate. We have to give some respect for the artists.
It's very well said. I'd love to maybe take a step back here and talk a little bit more about Camel Ventures, because I know so many people are probably wondering, like, what is Camel Ventures? How do I join Camel Ventures? Take me back to like the very early days of the community. Like, how did you go about building this community from the ground up? As you as like a founder and a leader of this organization, how were you communicating to the community? And just take me through what an average day looks like in the Camel Venture community.
Actually, actually, Camel Ventures, we are in the building stage. We are trying to build up, and we try to expanding. Because I am as a founder, my role is to bringing the information to the community. Like the Vietnamese people, actually they are the general people. They are not really good with English, so I have to I have to gather information from different sources, and then I have to translate it from English to Vietnamese, and I have to and I have to put my own content to bringing the value to the community. Like music NFTs. If I just say that, music NFTs, it is the future. It's good. That's not the case, because nobody gonna believe it. I have to say why. I have to explain that why it is beautiful, why it is so potential, why we are so early. I have to put because I am very good in I say writing content. I have to put the soul inside of that. I try to like actually, if maybe they don't understand the content of the music, but they still like to listen to it. Like a few days ago, Blackpink, they come to Vietnam. In spite of their bands from Korean, but the tickets just sold out in Vietnam. It's crazy. The tickets kind of expensive, but the people, the young people, they're willing to uh, lay out the main money and buy all the tickets. Despite that, they don't really understand the meaning of the lyrics at all, but they just like that. So that's the like the power of the music, and my mission is to convey those information to my community. Yeah, and we are trying. My content in all the channels now, they can reach out to like thousands of people, and my aim in the future, maybe I will try to target for 2 millions of people, maybe in Vietnam alone, because one third of the people in Vietnam, they know and own crypto. It's a lot of people, and for the future is maybe still like to one to third of people in the future um, will own crypto or interact with it, and the population of Vietnam is like 100 million people. One of a third of 100 million people is 30 million people. That's a lot, and Camel is trying to reach out to that audience. Yeah, by bringing good content. We don't do chill. We don't party up with the third party. We don't do pump and dump project. We just want to head for the good cause. Yeah, the utilities of the blockchain and how the blockchain can really have impact to daily life of the people, especially music NFTs. Yeah.
Right.
Say that.
And there's a lot to unpack there, because for those who don't know, Vietnam has an incredible developer community. Like Vietnam developers have written some of the best smart contracts out in the game right now. And more broadly than that, I think that there's so much relevancy to what you're saying, because just to kind of, again, go back to 2017, I keep referencing this. I remember that one of the big things back in 2017 was hiring translators for these different communities. And there would be a project, and they would hire a translator to go and take the content and translate it to Vietnamese to share with the Vietnamese communities. And I feel like for a long time, that kind of spirit went away. And so I think it's very interesting to find it resurfacing through something like music, because it's obviously a very different, vertical than ICOs or DeFi or anything else like this. But I find it really relevant because you just pointed out something really amazing there, which is to say that having been around since 2017, there's a certain way that you look at projects in the space. As you mentioned, no shills, no third parties, no pump and dumps, etc. There was a lot of that in 2017, right? And so it's very fitting to the Camel's, name, the resiliency of Camel, to actually make it to this point in time, to now be able to build a community that's grounded in the same principles that allow you to navigate the space as a confident collector and investor in crypto. And it feels very timely that you as a founder are now able to amass this community behind you, because I feel like you've had to learn a lot as a writer, as an investor, as a collector yourself, to be able to grow this community into what it is today.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what does that look like for you? I guess I'm curious to hear, these days, Camel's an amazing collector community. They're actively some of the biggest collectors of all the songs that are on Sound. Like, how do you think about your ambitions for Camel Ventures and what you guys would like to be doing over the course of the next maybe 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I have to say that we will try to continue to discover the utilities of music NFTs. We try to find out the artists that we want to invest into. Yeah, about in the future, if music NFTs can bring back some profit for our community, we will try to put that the profit to some charity. Yeah, that is my dream, is to making gains in crypto in general and music NFTs alone, that we can me and Camel Ventures together we will try to establish some charity foundation. Yeah, that is the number one. To because I think this is very beautiful, because when you say that blockchain can change the world in many ways, you can help people in need with the profit from the crypto alone, and then we will want to have some. We try to connect with the artists in Vietnam. Trying to tell them about the potential of music entities, of sound, XYZ. And we try to participate with them to go some partnership or something to getting them get to know about the Web3 and music entities. Yeah, because as you say, Vietnam is so very active in the smart contract deployment and everything in crypto. It's not so why it's not being early in the music entities. The artists in Vietnam have to catch up,
Yeah.
And we as a Camel Venture, with the experience that we got with the artists that we have back, we have invested in, we have Cuberate.
Cooperate, yeah.
I don't know. We cooperate, yeah. We try to get them into the market, yeah.
And so for the
yeah.
So for the artists who are listening to this, what do you guys look for as a collective? Like as a Camel Ventures, you guys are looking at different songs to support, looking at different artists. 2 questions. The first one would be, what do you look for as a collective? And then the second one would be, if artists want to submit their music to Camel to have it be heard and be considered as something to be collected, what's the best way for artists to be sharing music with the Camel collective?
When we talk about music, it's very it's not about the what's the word, the quantity and the, it's very when I heard a song, it's just mostly start from my feeling about a song.
Yeah, the vibe.
The vibe. Yeah, it is a good song for me at that time. It fits my vibe at that time. I will like it. Yeah, and it's basically come from most of them from my feeling about that song. And when I feel that song, I would try to inspire to the crowd, to the people around me. Yeah. But I will change a little bit for the crowd, so they can approach different genres of music, Yeah, and then I can look about the artist story, like that. Yeah, because you have to have a good story to persuade people to listen to you. That's the second thing. But first, they will listen to your music first. So I have an advice for the artist, that just being you, because the music is you. So try to express yourself, and and we as an audience we will have a sympathy somehow, the connection with the music somehow. Yeah.
Nice.
And for if they want to, we are so thank you, and we are still so honored that if the artists, they want to send us the music first, they can DM me through my Twitter. Yeah, I think this is easiest way. Yeah, to from the Twitter of Camel Ventures, and I will check I will check and every one single of them, and I will introduce it to my my community. Yes,
I love that.
and see how it goes. But first, I have to listen it first. Yeah.
Gotta like the music first, man. It's always the first rule of thumb, you know? And I think to give some context here too, I believe that Camel Ventures, your account, may be the one with the most referrals of all time on Sound at this point. I mean, don't correct me on that. I know you're definitely top 3 or top 5 at the absolute least, but yeah, it's just fascinating. I feel like the thing I find so powerful about the way you've grown your community is that there's so many unique members in it. You know, we're at a place right now with music NFTs and sound and even just like crypto apps in general where there really aren't that many unique people that are actually touching these products on a daily basis. And what I find the most compelling about Camel is that when Camel shows up for a song, it'll be hundreds, if not thousands of people that are coming and collecting this music, you know? And I know that feels like at some point in the future, that's going to be something that feels obvious, but at least for right now, when you see the difference between a song that has the support from Camel and a song that doesn't quite yet, it's night and day. Where Camel will come into a song, you know, they'll like it a lot, and then you'll see the comment bar. It's just a comment bar for me. I think that's something that I always notice when Camel's supporting a song is that the comment bar is filled with Camel emojis in it, people saying they came from Camel, that they love the music, etc. And I'll be honest with you, man, for a while when Camel first started popping up, I was like, what is going on? Is this like a bot farm? Like, is this even real people? Like, a lot of people were questioning, like, what is Camel Ventures, you know? But then the more that I started to get to know you and just really learn and understand the community, I realized that this is just a group of people who love music and they're willing to take a chance on it because it's a new vertical that has so much opportunity for it. And the first time that we talked, it was just very obvious to me that you just see the vision very clearly, you know, and even being based in Vietnam, it's so amazing to me that you're taking the time to translate all of this content and help to give your community an opportunity to collect in the space right now, because it really is such early days. And I think that Camel is going to play an extremely significant role in the future of this culture and in the history and the permanence of what made it so special in the first place.
Yeah. I have to tell you about the story about how, because as I tell you before, there's many members has come to the market to crypto is very soon, very from 2017. As I tell you, first in the first place, they just care about the gains profit. They just like because after a season of the booming market in 2021, many of them has gains a big money with the selling NFTs, the monkey and Azuki and everything like that. In the first place, they just only care about profit. But after I try to tell them about the beautiful things of the beautiful things behind the music NFTs, they start to like them. They start to like the music, yeah, and many members of the community they start liking the music. They love it. I think they start minting the music not just because I told them so, but they mint the music NFTs because they love it. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
They turn from the NFT flippers to the music lovers, and it's very very how I can
diamond hands.
Say it's very
Camel diamond hands.
Yeah, they're from flippers to holders, and they hold because they like it, they love it, because they love the music, and it's what beautiful things of the music that can impact to people. You know,
that's right.
A song can light up your day, or it's make you feel better when you have a hard time or something.
Yeah, I want to tell a fun story in closing here. So I had a really amazing music experience in Vietnam. So let's set the stage here. It's 2018. It's the start of a bear market. I'm fresh out of college. I'm doing a lot of work for different projects, just trying to find any work I can in crypto. So I go to Singapore for Consensus Singapore. this giant crypto conference. I'm meeting all these projects, etc. And then I see that this artist I really love named San Holo is playing a show in Vietnam, in Hanoi. And so I end up going to Hanoi to see San Holo play this concert, and I run into him in the airport. And he's like, "What are you doing here? Why are you in Vietnam?" And I'm like, "I'm here to see your show, man." And he's like, "Why are you seeing my concert in Vietnam?" And so San Holo, being the incredibly generous person he is, he sends me a message, he puts me on guest list. And I remember I went to the concert in Hanoi, my very first night in Vietnam. And granted, I hadn't traveled at this point in my life, so I was completely culture shocked. You know, Vietnam is like a very fast moving city. There's, you know, motorcycles going everywhere, and it's like a million miles an hour. And I go to this club with San Holo, and I just have this incredible night where he's playing this amazing music to this club that's so engaged with the music. And I will never forget that night because it was so special to me. And so Vietnam always just holds a very special place in my heart because it was one of the places that I had the most significant, powerful concert experience ever. And so I think it's just so poetic that Camel Ventures, you know, based out of Vietnam, is having such an amazing effect on the market. And I'm such a big fan and a supporter of what you're doing that I'm just very thankful that you've taken the time to come and share your story with everyone, because I know so many people are excited to learn more about Camel. And I really feel like we've just, you know, it's the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we got coming up for the next chapter ahead here.
Yeah. I also want to say thank you to you. I am on the behalf of myself and all the Camel Ventures. And I want to say thank you to you and to all the artists that are working very hard to put up the artwork for us. For us as a music collector, yeah, we are so appreciated for their hard work, and thanks to them, we have opportunity to have a great song that can light up our day. Yeah, as I say, and I wish that in the future, if you have a chance, you can return to Vietnam someday. We can meet up, maybe along with some artists, local artists in Vietnam, have some party with the Camel Ventures, and yeah,
100%. I totally see it. Yeah, it's been so fun throwing these different crypto parties at all these different places in the world. So, you know, we just did an event in Paris last week. We threw an event in Tokyo not too long ago, but absolutely, I know what's going to happen. I'd be very excited to do a music NFT party in Vietnam with Camel Ventures. So, Tu, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. You know, I know that this was your first podcast, but you absolutely crushed it, man. I'm really thankful for you, and I'm excited for what's to come in the future.
Yeah, me too. So excited for the future. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Stay up with Camel Venture at Camel Venture on Twitter. This was an amazing episode, and I'm excited for more people to learn about the Camel Collective. So thank you too, and thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. See you. Thank you for everyone.